Hey everyone! I never thought I'd be one of those guys typing out a post like this, but here I am, sitting in my living room, dog curled up next to me, trying to make sense of a life that feels like it cracked open overnight. I, 34M, have been married to my wife, 31F, let's call her Lana, for 5 years. We met at a coffee shop, classic meet cute stuff, and for the longest time, I really thought we were solid. She was sharp, fiery, always had this mischievous spark in her eyes. I loved that about her. She kept life interesting. Turns out, she was just foreshadowing a massive emotional hurricane I didn't see coming. The first real sign something was off? Honestly, it wasn't huge. Just little things, you know? Lana started staying out later than usual. Said she joined this networking group for creative entrepreneurs. She was an illustrator, freelancing from home most of the time, so I figured it was a good way for her to connect with people, right? Makes sense. I encouraged it. I wanted her to have that. But then she started dressing different. Not bad, just not her. Flashier. Suddenly obsessed with luxury brands, weird designer sneakers, and this one bomber jacket that looked like it belonged in a Tokyo cyberpunk film. And then there was the crypto talk. Yeah, crypto. At first, it was just an offhand thing. She mentioned a guy from the networking group was a crypto miner and had given a really cool talk. Next thing I know, she's dropping words like blockchain, gas fees, and staking over dinner, which, to be clear, is not her vibe at all. Lana once said Bitcoin sounded like nerd monopoly money. So yeah. Something shifted. I felt it. I didn't want to be paranoid, though. We've all heard horror stories of people wrecking their marriages over suspicion, and I didn't want to be that guy. But gut feelings don't come from nowhere. Mine started screaming. So, I started paying more attention, not in a stalkerish way, just observing. It started with her phone. She used to leave it lying around like it was nothing. Half the time I had to tell her she had 14 unread messages. But suddenly, it was glued to her. Like, bathroom trips? Phone. Shower? Phone in a plastic bag. She even changed her lock screen to one of those long PIN codes instead of Face ID. I joked about it, and she laughed way too hard, like it was the funniest thing ever. Except it wasn't funny, it was weird. Then there were the nights. She'd leave for her meetings around 7 p.m. and wouldn't come back until after midnight. One night she came home at 2:17 a.m. No text. No heads up. Just walks in with a takeout bag and this dazed, giddy look. Like she just stepped off a party yacht. I asked if everything was okay and she said, "Oh my god, it was such a long brainstorm session, but I think we're close to launching something really big." Like, change our lives big. Change our lives? You draw fantasy animals on Etsy. She started throwing around phrases like passive income and early retirement and investing in his rig like she was suddenly the COO of Crypto Bro Corporation. I played dumb and asked, "Who's he?" She goes, "Oh, just this guy I met. Mason. He's got this insane mining setup in his apartment. You'd love it, it's all fans and wires and this crazy neon lighting. Super technical." I'd never heard the name Mason before. Not once. That's when my stomach dropped. I didn't even know I was holding my breath. That same night, I did something I've never done in my marriage. I checked her iPad, which was synced to her messages. She'd logged out. Totally wiped. Like she knew I'd look. She was covering her tracks. At that point, I didn't need hard proof. I had enough puzzle pieces to know the picture wasn't looking like happy married couple anymore. Still, I didn't confront her yet. I wasn't ready. Instead, I decided to find out who this Mason really was. Spoiler alert, that rabbit hole went deep. So, I did what any half-sane, suspicious husband would do. I turned into a damn detective. I started with the name Mason. Not exactly a rare one, but I remembered she mentioned he had a mining setup in his apartment. I figured maybe I could trace him through some kind of crypto forum or local group, but that got me nowhere fast. Too many nerds named Mason talking about GPUs. Then I hit Craigslist. Why? Because Lana mentioned she helped him list a few rig parts online, whatever that meant. Lo and behold, buried in the electronics computers section was a listing for custom-built crypto mining rig, 3090 GPUs, serious buyers only. The post had a name, Mason L., a burner Gmail, and a phone number. So, I texted him. Pretended I was interested in buying a setup. Told him I was new to crypto, wanted advice, blah blah. He was all over it. Super chatty. Told me to come check it out in person, said he'd even give me a discount if I brought cash. Real smooth operator. I showed up to the apartment. He gave me the address for a downtown, upscale building, stupidly expensive. Like, definitely not funded by mining alone expensive. He opened the door wearing a robe. A robe, bro, gold chain, man bun, that smug confidence of a guy who just made $4,000 selling an NFT of a cartoon banana in sunglasses. The kicker? I spotted Lana's hoodie on the back of his couch. Her favorite one. The pink one from that streetwear pop-up she dragged me to last fall. I knew then. No more guessing. No more gut feelings. She wasn't networking. She was nesting. And this dude? He was loving it. He kept saying things like, your girl's got big vision, man, and we vibe on a different level. She gets crypto like, spiritually. I don't know if he was trying to brag or if he genuinely didn't know she was married. At some point, I just left. I didn't say who I was. I didn't punch him in the mouth, even though my blood was boiling. I just got in my car, hands shaking, and sat there for a full 30 minutes. I wasn't even sure what hurt more, that she cheated, or that she cheated with this guy. I didn't sleep that night. Or the next one. Or the one after that. I kept playing it over in my head, her laughter, the hoodie on Mason's couch, him calling her your girl like it was just a casual nickname and not the title of someone's wife. Every time I closed my eyes, it was there again. By night 4, I cracked. She came home late again. 12:42 a.m., hair messed up like she'd been riding in a convertible, makeup smudged, smelling like citrus and cigarettes. Not her usual scent. I was waiting on the couch, lights off, just one lamp glowing like I was in a noir film or something. She jumped when she saw me. Jesus, babe, you scared me. Why are you sitting in the dark? I said nothing. Just stared at her. Waited. She set her keys down, slowly, like she knew something was coming. What's going on? I asked her point blank. Are you sleeping with him? Her reaction was weird. Not shock. Not denial. Just a long pause, too long, and then this scoff. Like I'd asked if she was cheating on her diet. Are you serious right now? She said, crossing her arms. You're being paranoid. He's a business connection. I told her I went to his apartment. That I saw her hoodie. That I heard what he said about her. She rolled her eyes. Rolled. Horror. Eyes. God, you're acting crazy. I left that hoodie there by accident. We were brainstorming all day, and I got tired and napped for a bit. That's it. Are you seriously accusing me of sleeping with a guy just because I crashed on his couch? I didn't even know what to say to that. I told her it wasn't just the hoodie. It was everything, her disappearing, the secrecy, the lies, the phone. She cut me off. You're being controlling. I knew you'd get weird the second I started doing something for myself. Heaven forbid I grow or network without you monitoring me like some jealous hall monitor. And there it was. The gaslight special. She stormed off to the bedroom, slammed the door, left me sitting there in silence. I just kept thinking. Was she lying so easily because she believed her own BS, or because she didn't think I'd ever walk away? After that night, everything between us changed, though she acted like nothing happened. Lana doubled down on her business mode. Suddenly, she was consulting on crypto projects, going to Web3 mixers, and taking calls in the car for hours with the windows up. And Mason? His name vanished like a magic trick. She never brought him up again, like if she didn't say his name, he didn't exist. But I knew. I started checking our bank statements. Not because I wanted to control her, like she accused me of, but because I needed to know what the hell was going on. That's when I found it, a $2,200 transfer from our joint savings to a name I didn't recognize. The note said, Seed Investment. I googled the name. Guess who it belonged to? Yep. Mason. She was funding him. With our money. That was it. The moment the thread snapped. I didn't scream. I didn't throw anything. I didn't even cry. I just walked into the kitchen, grabbed a beer, and sat at the table for an hour staring at the bottle like it was going to tell me what to do next. That night, I told her she had a week to get her stuff out. I said, I'm not your investor, your audience, or your backup plan. You want the crypto cowboy? Go live in neon-lit tech bro fantasy land with him. She cried. Full-on breakdown. Screaming 1 minute, begging the next. It was nothing serious. It didn't mean anything. I needed excitement. You don't understand what it's like being with someone who's always so stable. You're too good, it made me feel small. Let me repeat that for the people in the back, I was too good, and that's why she cheated. I stood there, listening to her try to turn her choices into my fault, and I felt nothing but this hollow silence. Like I'd already mourned the marriage days ago. I slept on the couch. She didn't come back the next night. 2 days later, I came home from work and half her stuff was gone. She left a note on the fridge. Maybe someday you'll see this was just part of my journey. Her journey. Like I was a layover on the way to whatever NFT-infused enlightenment she was chasing. I laughed out loud. A real, bitter laugh. And then I threw that damn note in the trash. The house felt like a museum after she left. Her side of the closet was empty. No more brushes on the bathroom counter. No more random earrings in coffee mugs. Silence, except for the fridge humming and the occasional bark from my neighbor's annoying little dog. At first, I thought I'd feel relieved. But what I really felt was nothing. Like my heart had been evicted before the rest of her stuff. Friends started checking in. Some of them had known something felt off but hadn't said anything. Others were genuinely shocked. One of her friends, Cammie, who I always figured just tolerated me, actually reached out and said, "She's been spiraling for a while, man. You didn't deserve this." Which was weirdly comforting. And then came the DMs. It started small. A random message from a woman I didn't know. "Hey, I saw your wife at an event last month. She was with a guy who was definitely not you. Just thought you should know. Sorry if this is out of line." I thanked her. Polite, neutral. But then came the second message. And the third. One woman messaged me to say Mason had hit on her, too. While Lana was in the bathroom. Another sent me a photo, grainy, low light, but clear enough. Mason, at a rooftop bar. Lana on his lap. That photo broke something in me, but not in the way you'd think. It didn't make me sad. It made me done. Done feeling humiliated. Done questioning myself. Done thinking this was somehow my fault for being boring, or stable, or not spiritual enough for crypto. I unfollowed her on everything. Blocked her number. Even deleted old photos. Not out of anger, out of self-preservation. But the world has a twisted sense of humor. Because 2 weeks later, she showed up at my door. It was a Saturday. I was finally starting to feel human again, made coffee, had music playing, opened the windows for the first time in weeks. I even laughed at a stupid YouTube video. Felt like a small win. Then the doorbell rang. And there she was. Lana. Standing there in oversized sunglasses and some dramatic trench coat like she was in a breakup montage. She looked different. Not sad, fragile. Like the wind might blow her over. I didn't say anything at first. Just stood there in the doorway, arms crossed. I just needed to talk, she said. I didn't invite her in. Just leaned against the doorframe. She took the glasses off. Eyes red. I made a mistake. No shit. She started on this speech about how Mason wasn't who she thought he was. That he'd ghosted her after she transferred more money to help with some new GPU order. That she'd been staying with a friend, broke, confused, spiritually lost, blah blah. He made me feel seen, she said, but it was all just illusion. He wanted my money, not me. She tried to touch my hand. I stepped back. She got quiet for a second. Then. I miss us. I miss you. I thought the crypto stuff would be freedom, but you were always my anchor. I just didn't see it. I swear, if she said the word journey again, I was gonna scream. I told her I was sorry that happened. Truly. No one deserves to be used like that, even if they're the one who hurt you. But I also said it was not my job to fix her, and I wasn't a backup plan just because her crypto boyfriend turned out to be a scammer with a mining setup powered by ego and empty promises. She cried. Tried to guilt-trip me with memories. Our first apartment. That road trip to Colorado. How we used to cook together barefoot in the kitchen. It hurt, hearing all that. Not because I wanted it back, but because I realized I was the only one who ever meant it. I told her I hoped she figured herself out. And then I shut the door. Didn't slam it. Just closed it. Quiet and final. And I stood there, forehead against the wood, heart pounding, not with sadness, but with peace. About a week after Lana's grand doorstep performance, life started to feel calmer. I wasn't jumping every time my phone buzzed. I actually went out with friends again. Laughed, genuinely. Even slept a full night without waking up replaying arguments in my head. Then, out of nowhere, I got a message that flipped everything sideways. It was from a guy named Kyle. Didn't know him. No mutuals. He just wrote. Hey, man. I don't know how to say this, but I think your ex-wife was also messing around with my roommate while she was still with Mason. I thought you should know. My first reaction? I literally laughed. Like, full on, out loud, cracked up alone in my kitchen kind of laugh. Of course she was. Kyle sent proof. Screenshots of flirty DMs between Lana and some dude named Jeremy. She was messaging him while she was still giving Mason money and pretending to be heartbroken over our marriage. One message said, "You're the only one who really gets me. Everyone else just wants something from me." I mean, the irony. This woman wasn't lost or swept up in crypto energy or on some spiritual quest. She was just a serial manipulator who needed constant attention like it was oxygen. Crypto bro, burner phone boy, backup simp didn't matter. As long as someone wanted her, she was good. And suddenly, everything made sense. The hoodie on Mason's couch? Probably not her first. The crying at my doorstep? Just another scene in her drama reel. Me? I wasn't even a character in her life, I was just the audience she expected to keep clapping. It didn't hurt anymore. It just felt pathetic. Not for me, for her. That night, I blocked every unknown number. Deleted old texts. Cleaned out my inbox. And then, I did something I hadn't done in months. I updated my dating profile. Not out of revenge. Not to show her. But because I was ready to be seen again. Not as a guy picking up broken pieces, but as me. So here I was, newly single, emotionally gutted but finally grounded, and cautiously dipping my toes back into the dating world. I didn't expect much. A few awkward dates, maybe a couple of ghostings. The usual. But then, something unexpected happened. I matched with someone named Riley. Her profile wasn't overly curated. No filters, no just here for laughs bios. She had this quiet confidence in her smile, like she wasn't trying to prove anything. First message? A comment about my dog in one of the photos, followed by, "You look like the type who reads warning labels before jumping into things." Respect. That made me laugh. Like, really laugh. We started talking. Days turned into weeks. She was sharp, funny, thoughtful, she asked about things, listened when I answered. No weird vibes. No cryptic disappearances. No late-night networking meetings with guys named after Home Depot tools. And the best part? She had no clue about my past drama. She wasn't someone from Lana's world. Just someone real. One night over drinks, I told her a little about the divorce. Not everything, just that it ended messy. She just nodded and said, "Well, you don't seem bitter." That's impressive. I've met people who couldn't shut up about an ex from 10 years ago. And I realized I wasn't bitter anymore. Not even a little. I'd spent months tangled up in lies, gaslighting, emotional whiplash, and somehow, I made it out. Not jaded. Not angry. Just wiser. Riley wasn't a rebound. She was the reminder that I wasn't broken. That I still had value. That love, real love, didn't feel like a puzzle you were always trying to solve with missing pieces. And yeah, maybe it's early, but it feels good. Simple. Honest. Peaceful. So yeah. That's my story. From thinking I had a stable, happy marriage, to uncovering a mess of lies wrapped in hashtags and hardware wallets, to realizing I'd been gaslit, used, and emotionally played like a background character in someone else's self-discovery arc. And somehow, I'm still standing. If you're going through something similar, if your gut's screaming that something's wrong, if you're being fed excuses that make less sense every time, if your partner suddenly has a million networking events and hides their phone like it's state property, here's what I'd tell you. 1. Don't ignore your instincts. If something feels off, it usually is. I gaslit myself for months thinking I was paranoid. I wasn't. 2. Don't wait for them to change. You can't fix someone who doesn't think they're broken. You'll only end up breaking yourself trying. 3. Closure is a myth. You may never get a clean apology or a confession or an explanation that makes it all make sense. Sometimes your closure is just moving on. 4. Healing isn't linear. You'll have days where you feel strong, and days where you want to stalk their social media or scream into a pillow. Both are valid. Just don't unpack and live in that pain. 5. You're not unlovable. Being cheated on doesn't make you less worthy. It says more about them than it ever will about you. And the biggest lesson? Peace is better than passion wrapped in chaos. I thought excitement was what Lana wanted. Turns out, she was addicted to the highs of dysfunction. And I finally realized I don't need to be part of someone's emotional roller coaster to feel alive. Now, I've got peace. A new connection. A deeper understanding of my own boundaries. And the knowledge that I'd rather be alone and respected than loved and lied to.